Hey guys, Stealth here. Welcome to the War Room. Let me kick off this week's War Room with a question for you guys. What would be a good keyboard? Maybe a bit of a weird question, but my girlfriend manages to destroy my keyboard by accidentally putting a bit of coffee over it. We took the thing apart, we tried to clean it as best we could, but salvaged or damaged beyond repair. Could not be salvaged anymore. So, the question, what would be a good gaming keyboard? Because lately I've been looking at the Logitech line, and Logitech used to have these really good fancy keyboards. The G15, the G510, stuff like that is really what I liked as their design, quality. They had these multimedia buttons on it, so pause, play, stop, next, etc. Volume keys. But lately, I don't really see these things. I just find that all of the keyboards so far are pretty ugly. They all seem to be geared towards apples. They seem to be geared towards controlling your iPad. I'm not interested in that. I need to get a good keyboard, preferably with multimedia buttons, preferably at a reasonable price point. So what kind of keyboards are you using? What kind of brand, what kind of make? Let me know in the comments, because I'm really looking into getting a new keyboard. I'm on a basic Logitech, let's say a fallback keyboard right now. It's pretty damn ugly. Now, I don't particularly care about the looks, although it is something that I'm basically looking at for up to 10 hours a day. So it has to be good. Let me know what kind of make and model of keyboard you're using. Would you recommend it? If not, why not? If so, why so? Preferably, by the way, wireless. Preferably wireless. These wired keyboards, well, they're not bad, but I just prefer wireless. As for mechanical or just the standard versions, I'm not sure. The mechanical keyboards always, at least when I'm hearing people use them on TeamSpeak, and that's the first issue, you can hear people using them, because they sound like old typewriters. I'm always like, whoa, that's loud. I need to record videos with this, and if I'm typing in chat, for example, I don't want to hear people, or I don't want to have people hear something like the typewriters from the previous century going off in the background. I know that mechanical keyboards have some advantages. They're supposedly more responsive, but in the games that I play, that's usually not extremely important. Anyway, let me know what kind of things you are using, what kind of hardware, and I'll definitely look into it. Anyway, War Room. So, let's have a look at what happened last week. I want to kick off with what happened last Saturday in Orlando, United States. If you've not been paying attention to it, there was a mass shooting in Orlando. One guy took out 50 people, 50, and wounded, I believe, 53 others, or at least those were the latest numbers that I've seen. Wow. Just, what the hell? Now here's the weird part of it. I'm not sure if it's just me, but whenever I hear stuff like that, I usually go into the how part of the mechanics. So when I hear that someone has shot 53 people, I'm going, okay. Mechanically, as it were, how do you do that? Not that I'm looking for a repeat performance, I'm just trying to figure it out, because that's the way my mind works. It's completely analytical. If you shoot and kill 50 people, and this guy was a security guard for G4S, so he had some security training, probably some firearms training. Taking out 50 people, let's say you're using a Glock, let's say you have 17 rounds in a mag, that would mean that you fired off at least 3 full mags and hit every single shot. Now that's not particularly likely. It's not impossible, but it's not particularly likely. So he must have been reloading time and time again. He was also using some sort of automatic weapon. It's just not been, or at least I haven't found what kind of weapon he was using yet. But just shooting this many people? I'm not sure how long the guy was at it, but just imagine being in a nightclub like that and just, I don't know, just being there at the wrong time, at the wrong place, and just getting hammered like that. Seeing your friends, your possibly your loved ones dropping dead all around you. This is crazy. I gotta say, I'm usually not paying that much attention to terrorism because, well, let's face it, it's happening pretty much non-stop. The more attention you pay to it, the more they seem to win, the more they seem to get what they want, so that's why I'm not actually paying too much attention to it. But something like this, bloody hell, it does make it personal, doesn't it? Takes me back to what happened in Paris a couple of months ago. I think that was November, wasn't it? November 2015. But this one is, of course, it didn't have any bombings, but I believe that the total kill count for one bad guy was just as bad, if not worse. So, if you were somehow involved, or if you did have someone inside at that time, my sincere condolences, because it must have been atrocious. It must have been horrible being in there. Anyway, on to a happier note. The rookie night that I organized last Saturday went really, really well. We didn't have as many people, but that's okay, because every single one of the people, every single player that we can train up to a better level is another good player, or another better player to have on your team. And that's the whole goal. I don't intend to train the whole community. Not all of the community wants to be trained in the first place. And that's exactly what worked. We had a couple of guys on. I think we had about 5 or 6 training rooms going. So that was 3 teams of 2 to 3 players going up against each other, with one veteran overwatching them and telling them what to do, what not to do, and stuff like that. If you missed it, don't worry, you can still find the recordings on the channel. You can still look back at both of the rookie nights, because I did 2 of them actually. Part 1 is the Asia cluster, or the Australia cluster. Anyway, for me it's time zone +6 and then some. And the other one was geared towards Europe and the US. That's unfortunately broken up into 2 parts, because part 2 at some point started glitching out, and that was during this match actually, this 10v10. For some reason it glitched out and I had to restart it, so part of it's going to be in part 2, part of it's going to be in part 3. And if you want to have a complete commentary on that game, look towards the end of part 2, or just jump right into part 3. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing another rookie night soon, seeing as this one was already a bit farther removed from the Wargame sale that we had earlier. And I think that the Wargame sale really helped out the community. There were suddenly so many new players, and none of them had a clue what to do. I think, though, that most of those have already decided to stop playing. They don't seem to be coming on as much, or at least in pure numbers that I'm seeing when I'm checking the number of people online. It's not as good as it was 3 to 4 weeks ago when the Dutch DLC came out and Wargame went on sale, of course. And I mean, that was completely expectable. These people are just not entirely used to Wargame. Wargame has a huge learning curve, and that's why I try to organize these rookie nights. But some people are going to have played the game, they're going to go, whoa, this is complex, and they just decide not to play it anymore. And that's fine. You play something for your enjoyment. Talking about enjoyment, I haven't been enjoying Stellaris as much. I don't know, it becomes a grind, and looking at the amount of views that I'm getting, you guys seem to agree with me. And that's why I've decided there will be no more Stellaris. It's just not getting enough views. I am not completely about the views. If I enjoy a game, I'll continue to play it and I'll continue to put videos up on it. But if I don't enjoy it and it doesn't get any views, then it's a real easy decision for me and it's just a no-go. I'm just not going to continue it anymore. So that's why there's no more Stellaris. I'll probably be doing 1 more episode to round it up to, I believe, 25 episodes, but after that, that's about it. That's just all that I'm going to be doing on that. I do have another game that I might be covering. I'm just not very well versed in it yet, and that's Hearts of Iron. Or Hearts of Iron 4 to be exact. I haven't played any of the Hearts of Iron series before, and this means that I don't exactly know what I'm doing. It seems to be an incredibly in-depth game. And last time that I played it, and that was, I believe, earlier this weekend, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. I was doing the tutorial, but there are so many buttons, so many controls, so many things to consider, so many tactics, so many strategies, so many research projects you can undertake that I was completely lost. And I don't think you guys would actually enjoy watching me play a game that I completely suck out at. So that's, well, it might be coming this week, but I don't really think so. But I do want to know what your thoughts are on how to grow this channel. I've been over this before, but what kind of current games do you think would be worth covering? And especially Stellaris, by the way, isn't worth it. I'm not really sure, but I just wasn't getting any views. It seemed like it just was not interesting to watch, and I can get that, because you're basically just watching a very, very large strategy game unfold. Whereas this, Wargame, this is just a very contained match. Let's say a maximum time of 3 hours, although you won't find 3-hour gameplays on my channel. And it's just a very contained setup. You have 2 parties going at it, and one wins and one loses. Stellaris, you have 15 parties, and that's even a smaller empire or a smaller game. 15 different parties going at it, trying to struggle for dominance of the entire universe. Yeah, no thanks. And I get that, it's not too interesting to watch. But let me know what would be interesting to watch for you, because I'm going to keep growing this channel. Stellaris isn't doing it, XCOM 2 isn't doing it, although I will be continuing with XCOM. But just let me know what you would like to see. What would you enjoy watching more of? It might be Wargame, although Wargame seems to have stalled a little bit. It might be a World of Warships. It might be a completely different strategy game that I haven't looked into yet. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, and I look forward to seeing those in the comments. Something else that I pitched last week was the Body Language for Gamers newsletter. Just a weekly newsletter where you can get some tips on basically anything that you might be struggling with as far as communication goes. So how do you do a job interview as far as your body language goes? How do you make a good first impression? How do you make sure that when you walk into the room, people are going to go, I'm going to give this guy the chance to present himself. Now, talking of presenting, how do you present? How do you make sure that when you are presenting, people listen? Now, I used to struggle with this a lot, and I lately did a presentation for lawyers for an hour. It went fantastic. It is absolutely a learnable skill, but you just have to be willing to put in the time. And considering that, especially the last couple of years and continuing for the next few years, the lifelong job isn't there anymore. It just doesn't exist anymore. You're going to be required to present yourself, to pitch yourself, as it were. And that's exactly what this body language newsletter is for. The amount of interest, though, is what really surprised me. Because normally I get about, I get a couple dozen subscribers for a newsletter like that. This one I got almost 200 in the span of about 36 to 48 hours. 200. That's a lot. That's the same amount of subscribers that I got for my standard Dutch body language for business newsletter in a year. I got this in 36 hours, so there's definitely something that I can help you guys with on that flank. You're definitely curious. And the first newsletter will be going out tomorrow, so that'll be Tuesday 14th of June. If you still want to join, you can join at any time. You can join tomorrow, today, whenever you feel like it. It's a free newsletter. If you don't want to get it anymore, just feel free to unsubscribe at any time. Link to that is in the description down below. Now, a little bit about Wargame. As I saw, there was a new micro patch up this morning. The Dutch now have names. Yes, finally, the Dutch have names. We are no longer called John Doe, every single one of them. This replay is still from Saturday, and I wouldn't be surprised if these have not been updated yet. Let's see, find me a Dutch unit. Of course, when you need to find a single Dutch unit, they're no longer there. This must be a German one, yep. Well, anyway, here we go. Nope, John Doe. Hasn't been updated yet. Probably won't be backdated like that. Anyway, the Dutch now have squad names, finally. It's not a particularly massive change, but come on. Eugen, you could have just asked us in front or up front what exactly are Dutch squad names. Leave your names below. We're introducing a Dutch DLC. Instead of doing it like a full shock offensive the way that they played it. Anyway, we have the Dutch names now, so that's all good. Other thing that I wanted to get you guys' opinion on is what are good sites to see in the UK? I'm considering heading over to the UK this vacation, so that's going to be July or August, to see what kind of things would be interesting there. I already went to HMS Belfast in London. Really, really good experience there. And my girlfriend just came back from Cambridge, where she was with a school trip to have her third years do a Cambridge exam. And she went to the Imperial War Museum. Definitely something I would like to see again. I've been there, well, I think 12 years ago, but I don't really remember a lot of it. And my girlfriend said it was amazing to watch, so I'll definitely be going there again. But what other things would be good to see? What other sites would be interesting to see? And of course, being in the UK, what kind of... or we could meet up if you were there, of course. I've been running this channel for about a year and 8 months now, since August 2014, and I have yet to meet the first subscriber in real life. And I would definitely love to do that this year. So let me know where you are in England, if you don't mind sharing that, so I can find out exactly what kind of route would be interesting, so I get not only a chance to see part of the country, but also to meet up with a couple of subscribers, because I'd really love to do that. Have a couple of drinks, talk about some games, talk about what's going on with you, and just meet up. Get a face with the subscribers. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week. Let me know what you're working on this week. Looking forward to seeing that. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, feel free to do so. Link is in the description. First newsletter will be going out tomorrow. And other than that, I look forward to seeing what kind of hardware you're using, so the keyboard, and what kind of games you would like me to cover on this channel, what you think would be interesting to watch. And with that, make sure you have a good week. Thank you for watching, thanks for being a subscriber, and I'll see you soon in the next video.